It's the fight of the century. Oh, yeah. We're talking audiobook versus ebook versus physical books. Let's go. Oh, yeah. I'm in it. I've been wanting to do that for so long. All right, guys. My name is Rob. This is my mom, Karen. You're watching Books, Banter, and Beyond. And as I mentioned at the beginning, we are going to do the heavyweight battle of the century. And we're going to break down what we think or what people think is the best way to read in
Mhm.
the three-way match of audiobooks, ebooks, and physical books. So, obviously, just a quick breakdown. Physical books would be categorized as the actual book itself, something you can hold in your hand, get it from a store or
We have
library.
them on our bookshelves. You have them on your bookshelves.
Exactly right here. Ebooks are ones that you would use on your computer, your tablet, or whatever other thing, and you basically would read it like a physical book, but it's on your phone, on your tablet, whatever, and you can just scroll. Then, of course, audio is what you would use to listen. Let's say you're running around the house doing chores, going out and about. You could pop it onto your phone through your radio, and you can just listen to your book. So you made it a very good observation that we both do. We got all of them here. I mean, and sometimes we even have the same title for all three. Why? Because we can. Why not, right? Um, I'll throw out kind of a general question for the both of us as we talk. I'm wondering, like, how we kind of got to this place of doing this, and like why all of a sudden we have this so many ways of doing it. Because if you think about it, for the longest time, books were the thing. You bought a book. There was the
Right.
printer,
But
right?
then
And
technology came around. And I also think, in business today, you want to meet the consumer where and how they consume their
right.
information, right? And in my business, I've always done everything. So we wouldn't just do an audio; we'd always would have a video. Like today, we're doing a show on video, but if we wanted, we could just go grab that audio as well and just have somebody listen to it. I've always wanted to be the person that, no matter how you listen to something or watch something, we provided it for you that way. And so I
Right.
actually get it in all different versions. Why? Because sometimes I want to listen to it when I'm not ready to fall asleep. And if I listen to it when I'm ready to fall asleep, I don't know where I ended. And so I don't actually know where to go back to start. Raise your hand if that's ever happened to you. You're
Oh, I'm
listening.
sure most people will agree with you that they're like, wait, what
So
did I? Yeah.
that's frustrating. I get very like distracted. It's like, okay, I don't know where I am.
So let's go into actually how the three differentiate that way. So obviously, when it comes to a paperback or hardback, you kind of have to go old school with the bookmark. You have to put it in there, make sure you're on the right page. It's up to you as the reader reading a physical to remind yourself where you were. Ebooks, kind of the same idea. But I believe on, let's say, like the Amazon Kindle, I think it'll just stop you where you're at. So when you open it again, it goes back to that page, and you don't
Right.
necessarily have to go back.
Right.
Though if you accidentally exit out, you might have to go find it again.
Right.
Audio for me, I think, is the best because at least on Libby or Audible, when you close it, it opens back up to where you ended. So, for instance, I started a new book. I stop at the chapter. When I open it up again, I'm going to start on the chapter next to where I just ended.
Right.
So,
Right. Right.
I think to your point, in
Right.
sense of usability, something like audio or even ebook, I guess, is a little bit better because you don't have to worry about where you were. Your machine should take care of that for you,
Right. Well,
theoretically.
so devil's advocate though. So on audiobooks, I'm an outliner, and
Okay.
so that's why I tend to like the books that I can hold in my hand, because I always
Mhm.
read with a highlighter and a pencil, and that's kind of how I know where I was, wherever the last part of the highlights were, and my bookmark. I know I did that. You
Right.
can't do that on an audiobook. You cannot highlight things. You can't go back and say, where did I read that? What part of the book
Well,
was
it's
it?
actually funny you said that because I'm reading a book with somebody across the country, and we're reading the same book. They have it in regular form, and they're showing me all the images from it. And it's kind of funny because when I'm reading the audiobook, I don't get that. So when I see the pictures, it really actually changes the entire thing. And I kind of go, damn, I wish I had
Right,
the thing because
right,
I can see the drawings and I can see the whatever. especially because it's a fantasy book I'm reading, so it has a lot of cool, dragons and stuff. Um, but you're right, there is something about the visual on it, and that actually
Well,
brings
whether
us to the formats.
right, and if it's a fiction book versus a nonfiction book, fiction books you probably don't go highlighting and doing stuff like that on it, but you want to see
True.
pictures, right? Personal development, nonfiction books, you might want to be underlying and doing stuff. But there are also people that, and sometimes I do this, I listen and read at the same time.
Oh, yeah, I actually, a lot of people will do that. I know, like in school, when you're studying, a lot of times people will try to find a audio of the study
Right,
guide
right,
while you're reading, so you can highlight, you can note, but you're also hearing it, so you're kind of doing double duty
exactly.
on doing that.
Well, I'm
Uh,
laughing, Rob. We're actually making excuses and reasons why you should have the same book in all different formats.
so let's go into kind of what the feeling of each one is. So we'll
Okay.
start with the physical because you already started about it. The main thing there is the nostalgia and the aesthetic factor.
Hmm.
Most of the time, people like a book because it looks good, and a lot of times, and if anybody's ever gone house hunting, they put them out there to
Right,
show the house. And there's no purpose to them. Nobody actually reads them. And usually, when you buy the house, those books go back to a storage unit and you
right,
never see them again.
right,
So, literally, sometimes a book is just there for the visual comfort and for the thing. For the nostalgia of it, it might be a book that you read and as a kid. It might be an author that you like. So physical books don't just hold the actual book, but it
right.
holds the feeling, right? And I think that's kind of what you were saying a
Right.
minute ago.
Books have a smell. I mean, I don't,
Yes.
right? The whole experience of holding a book, flipping the pages with your hands, you know, I do, bad girl. I flip down the little corner of the page in the book. But it's the experience. It is all
Yeah.
encompassing. Every single one of your senses, actually, when you think about it, are engaged when you read a book.
All
Every
right.
single one.
I like that. All right. So number two is going to be the ebook. And that I think goes to your business conversation a second ago. Ebooks really, I think, aimed at people who want the ability to take it easy,
Right?
do it
On
off your
the go.
computer, do it off your phone, whatever. And that's that. And that also kind of gives you your own little sense of aesthetic in a way because
Right,
that's what you do when you're a business person or you're
right,
running a business. You want it quick and easy. And like you were saying, how you can grab
right,
audio from one thing and turn it into something else.
right.
I think we did that for something else we were doing where we made an ebook out of
Yeah,
our
exactly. And the thing is, even with ebooks, it has the same functionality of a hardback or a paperback because they have
right.
the functionality. You can highlight in there. You can pick whatever color you want
I
to
was going to say you can actually draw in it
add
now,
in
and you can.
notes and all of that. And there you go. Again, if the experience for me, if I had to rate it in three, audio, digital versus books, digital book would be at the very bottom for me. Audio would be in the middle, and the book would be at number one.
Okay, all right.
Because I never can find things in a digital book where I highlight it. Then I'm like going like this, trying to figure out where I put the highlights. Right. So
That is true. I never understood how you can see the difference on your thing when you're
right,
typing it.
right.
Now, the last one here, you'll probably be a little shocked at how I'm going to compare it to, but audio I feel works for those like myself with let's say ADHD or OCD, and I say that because audiobook allows you to be able to still do the reading, but still be able to focus better than having to actually have it in front of you. Now, I say that from personal experience because I remember, and I think you remember when I was in school. I could barely sit in front of the desk with my book trying to focus doing it and my leg was so for an audiobook it kind of actually has a good use for those who might have a difficulty in
Right.
either learning or comprehending because the one thing I always hear somebody tell me when they're reading is I don't remember anything I just read even if I sat there for 3 hours and read it. I can't remember a single thing. So they jump to audio and all of a sudden, and maybe it's because how the brain is, you all of a sudden pick up all the minutia, all the details of it. So for me, I think audiobook is kind of a mental health um, advocate in a way because it allows people with the flustered brain, so to speak,
It's
to
Robert, that's funny you say that because I get distracted when I listen to audiobooks because I'm just sitting there and I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with my hands. Am I supposed to shuffle through papers? Am I just supposed to sit there and listen? And invariably, my mind starts thinking about what I should be doing next. Where's my piece of paper? I'm going to make a note.
do you
And then
think? maybe, and again, I know obviously it's all similar, but
Right.
do you think maybe uh, age difference, maybe how you had it when you were younger? Do you think there's a reason there, or do you think just generally person to person?
I think, yeah, I think all of those things. And I also think that it would only work well for me if I was actually like taking a hike or walking the dog and listening, because I can't get distracted then
Right.
because I am actually moving, and doing
So I'll
something.
tell you when I do read, because I'll read at nighttime, I will have, it's on my phone. So I'll have my phone out already. So while I'm reading, I will do something on my phone, whether it's maybe write some notes for the next day, I'll do whatever. So you are right. It is helpful to maybe play a game, just kind of a brainless game while I'm reading, just to move my fingers. Though one would say, and I know a lot of therapists have said it, when you meditate while you're listening, you can also do that as well too,
Right,
if you have the capacity to kind of just
right.
sit and
And that is correct, because that's what I will tend to do when I get frustrated and I literally go, I didn't even know I got up and started walking somewhere, kind of thing.
right.
I will close my eyes and I'll start breathing. I'll turn it on, and then you're right. That will kind of force me to focus because I'm already in the focus place. It has set me up for
Yeah, exactly. So
right,
I think in a weird way all three of them have some sort of aesthetically pleasing
right.
purpose, right?
So, how do you think your lifestyle affects the format of books that you read?
Well, I think we hit on the head a second ago right there. If you are someone who likes to move around, has to be active, whether you're doing chores, whether you're walking, whatever, obviously something that you can pop in your
Yeah,
pocket and not have to have is going to be your best bet.
right,
If, however, you are someone who prefers kind of the cozy of the couch, you bundle up, with your tea and
right,
whatever,
right,
then pop open a book, perfectly fine. Though it is kind of funny because I know you got people who are both, and you have some points of time. Like for me, like okay, at a certain time, I just want to sit, and I'm fine doing that. But other times of the day, I'm like, let's go do whatever. So pop on my phone
right,
and do that. But I think, yeah, I think lifestyle is going to greatly affect you, and not just the physically of it, but I think your personal preference, and I think how you feel too. Because I feel like books, you read them when you're feeling certain ways. So certain books, if you're
right,
feeling kind of down, you read
right.
this book. If you're feeling more up and happy, you read this book. So I think lifestyle, whether it's mental or physical, is going to greatly affect how and also what you're reading at the same time.
I agree. Do you think that there is a different emotional experience reading like a physical book versus, an ebook or an audiobook?
Yeah, definitely. And I think, like you were saying, whether it's, you lose focus in it and you're like, wait, what was I reading? And you have to write it down. I think books and emotion are one and the same. And I think if you don't get emotion from a book, you're not reading it right. Just kidding. But
Right,
I think, generally speaking, each way of reading it is going to give you, and I think there used to be commercials for Audible where like, you would see this screen and it looked like it was a movie, and then all of a sudden it would shrink and it would be somebody in the bathtub listening to the book,
right,
and there might be a tear coming down or they might be smiling, and the purpose of that was to basically be like you're watching something in your mind doing it. So I think books generally, whether it's doing it through your ears, through
right.
your eyes, it's going to give you such an emotional experience. And personally, like I said, I feel like I get more out of it from audio, but I wouldn't hold a candle against doing, a
Right.
physical book. So,
What sometimes when I listen to something on audio and I really, really like it, I'll go and buy the hardback or the paperback.
yeah, okay. Yeah.
And so that I have it, and then I will read it a second time. And it's actually like, literally reading it a second time. And it brings up everything that I remember listening to, and then I continue reading the book. So I have another question.
Okay.
Um, I don't have another question. I
Yeah.
don't have another question. I don't have. What is your favorite kind of book? So you prefer the audio? Is that what you prefer?
I would say if I'm going to list it like you did, I would probably say audio first, physical second, and then
Yeah.
digital last. Last time I sat down and really read through a book, it's been a little bit of time other than doing the research for what we're doing. But I would say generally it's just, you open the app, you push the button, you sit down, and you're done. Like I can put the phone down. I can, it's so super simple
Right.
that it's kind of like getting the book feels like it's work. So I like the audio, but I understand that the physical, at the same
Right.
time. So
So, I would be remiss if we didn't let people know that there are ways that you can get audiobooks that without
oh
going
yeah,
to Audible. If you have a Spotify account, if you pay for a Spotify account, they now have a huge resource of books on books from today, books from before that come with the platform, and it's free, totally free. So it's a great added bonus, I think. I know
and my
you.
favorite, is Libby.
I was going to
You
say
just need your
living
library card, and you can check
exactly.
out.
Exactly. And if the digital book is more your style and you have an Amazon Prime account, every month they release free books. Did you know that, Rob? Every
Oh, I
single
didn't
month.
know that actually. Yeah.
And you can pick 2 free books every
Oh,
single month.
all right.
Yeah, and what I find fascinating is that all, which is a good thing, all of these organizations are showing us how important it is to read,
Yeah,
right?
most
And they're
definitely.
making it, that's how you learn. And I think if more of us read, we might have a smarter world. Um, you know, there's that. So, but we have to put up this card first. Don't forget to go visit the next chapter bookstore.shop. That has an amazing amount of books, gently used books. So the price points are really low. You can fill your own home library with some of these books. If you are into paperbacks and hardbound, go ahead and take your phone out and scan the QR code on the left-hand side. It will take you right into the store for those particular kind of books. Scan the middle one for comic books. And on the right, we have merchandise, mugs, and shirts, and all sorts of other collectibles. Scan that one as well. As always, it's always a pleasure.
Always fun.
It always is. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Rob and I will see you next time on Books, Banter, and Beyond. Bye.